Hey friends, welcome back to another episode of Girl What? I'm your favorite host, Danielle Denise, back live in the flesh, podcasting once again. If you haven't already, please like and subscribe to the podcast on all the platforms, especially Apple and Spotify, and leave a glowing review if you feel strongly about it.
I like glowing.
Glowing.
I
need
that.
It to sparkle.
Throw a little like razzle dazzle.
Yeah, sprinkle a little oregano on it. I need some good stuff. Good stuff. Now, you guys, I have a guest who is no stranger to the podcast. She goes by, her name is, Maria Peralta. Unless you have another name, you need AKAs.
No, it's just Mari. Some people call me Mari for short.
Mari, got it.
We are in LA, so Maria is like a very common name. So I just go with Mari, La Mari. It's cute, right? I feel like it's nice and cute.
Mari. Maria is in the building. Hey, girl.
Holla, girl. I'm back.
She's back. She's been here before. Last time we talked about the Met Gala a couple years ago now, which is so crazy.
Was that during COVID?
That was like 2021.
Was it 2021? Or I feel like it was during
yes.
like peak COVID time.
It was peak COVID. Well, it was kind of tapering off a little bit.
Yeah.
I just remember it was when they changed the release of it in like September, October. It was weird.
Right. So it was because COVID, they couldn't have it in February, which they usually have it around this time, and they switched it to the fall time, and we were coming back, and it was our first kind of big event after COVID.
Exactly.
So yeah, I definitely remember now.
Yeah.
And we were wearing those ridiculous hats.
We were looking a mess. Or okay, you know what? I looked a mess.
No, I looked crazy.
Great. No, you didn't.
I don't think so. I think I saw a recording of it like a couple nights ago because I was trying to like plug this, and I was like, yo, what was I wearing?
We had on hats, furs. It was a mess. I had
the
on orange
audacity
glasses.
For us to be criticizing other people when we were looking a hot mess.
We were just trying to have fun. So I think it was warranted, and I think it was a great pod. So
per usual.
Yeah.
Just having a little fun.
Exactly. Shout out to us.
That's right.
But for those who don't know Maria, let's talk about what you do. You're a lady of many hats.
Yeah.
Lots of projects.
All day long. Listen, my days are not like anyone else's normal day. My days usually start around 5 a.m. for me.
Wow.
Yeah. And it takes a lot of discipline to do that, but because I've been doing this for such a long time. Yeah, so I would say 5 a.m. in the morning usually, and then it's followed by about a good 30 to 45 minutes of meditation, which is very important to me.
Good.
That's how I start my day.
Job. I didn't know that. And I'm happy to hear that.
Really?
Yeah.
We've never talked about this? I'm big on prayer.
Meditation?
And like, yes. It's literally, so every morning is very intentional for me. Like I'll wake up and I really try to like not look at my phone, which has been actually the worst thing lately because now I'm like always kind of looking at it.
It's hard.
And if you've ever been on my Instagram, you already know it's a roller coaster. In my Instagram
oh my God.
Stories.
Your stories are like the smallest ellipses of dots because, wow, you go all day.
But people like literally go through it and then they'll DM me and they'll say like, yo, I'm feeling exactly how you're feeling. Or like, I just spent an hour on just your story. It's like people really get invested in my stories.
Oh,
You know, I have about 2,000 followers, and I want to say I engage with about 700 of them.
that's a lot.
I know.
Wow.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
I don't really have a lot of like fake followers, but also I don't fake follow anybody.
Good.
But anyways, back to my day. Usually it's my alarm goes off at 5:55 a.m. I tend to wake up at 5 because my body clock just kind of does that automatically.
Wow.
And I'll start my meditation and my prayer, and I just really try really hard to address what's either on my chest that morning or in my mind. And if there's nothing, then it's just gratitude. But usually in my prayer, it's always gratitude. It's always like, okay, I'm awake.
Yeah.
I'm awake. All right, cool. Let's start there. Thank you, God. I'm awake. Now, I got a meeting in 2 hours or whatever it is for me, you know, because it's usually like I have a meeting in the morning or I'll have a conference call. I have clients that are in Miami. I have clients that are in New York. So it's like that 3 hours. It's 5 o'clock for me, but it's 8 a.m. for them, or it's 6 a.m. for me, and I'm brushing my teeth, but it's 9 a.m. and I have to be ready.
Right.
So I always kind of wake up with that, like, I woke up, oh shoot, I'm already behind, because I'm already like 3 hours behind. But then I have to remind myself, okay, wait, stop, breathe, pray, and then go. It's all about that checklist in the morning. And actually, when you meditate and you realize like your day, like you're intentionally going into the day with like, I need assistance, universe, God, whoever you pray to, with this meeting at 10. And then, you know, maybe I've got a side hustle here and there. I got like a couple side hustles.
Yes.
including my own brand. So it's like, God, I'm going to need the extra energy today to get through just my 9 to 5. And then make sure I call who I need to call during my lunch break to organize what I need to get done after, you know, I'm done. Because my days are 5 a.m. usually to 2 a.m.
Damn.
Yeah.
Girl.
And the energy usually is this or like higher. But there are times where like if I'm doing it for like 6 days in the week, on my 6th day, you'll find me a little bit more like
A little burnt.
a little burnt, a little emotional, a little.
Yeah.
Yeah. No.
I mean, yeah, it turns out you really need like a month-long vacation at the way you move and work. But, you know, that's not something you just do.
Which I kind of had it, unfortunately, because, you know, I was laid off from my last job. So I had about 8 to 9 months of unemployment, which I've never had in my life. And then I realized coming back into the workforce that maybe that's not what I want anymore. So then comes, I think I want to go back to starting my brand. And that's kind of what I've been on for the last couple of months, is like that energy. You know, people were saying, what are your resolutions for 2023 in December? But for me, I started in October. I was like, 2023 started for me in October of 2022. Because in October of last year, I was like, I think I'm going to do this for myself.
I love that.
Yeah.
Yes. And I feel like, you know, you could have been doing that, but it takes time. It takes time to get there mentally, to be mentally ready to do it. I too am gearing up to mentally start. I want to start developing this year for sure, and get my activewear line first started. So, and I'm in the early stages.
Well, you already got me. You know I got you, girl.
And thank you. I love
you know I got you.
But I love that even for your journey, you still started your line while you were working, while you were managing artists, while you're doing so many things. And even though, you know, you didn't like launch everything every season, you still had things in the works.
I always have something cooking in the back burner.
You're always in the development stage of something, which is beautiful.
Yeah.
So I'm so excited that you have a fashion show coming up. So I definitely want to talk about it. It sounds really cool. I will definitely be there.
Yes, girl. You know, I need you on the runway wearing like very little to nothing.
I might be in the show, you guys.
Please.
I might be in the show. We'll see.
Let's talk about this. But, you know, yeah.
I'm down. I think I'm free that day.
Confirmed. February 18th, she's going to be on the runway wearing very little to nothing.
What? I mean, I don't know what look you're going to put me in, but I'm down. Either way.
I like being reckless. A little bit. And I love it when my friends get to be reckless with me.
I'm here for it. You know, I can wear anything. So, yes. This fashion show sounds really awesome. Very cultural. Yes. Let's talk about the history. Let's talk about the name. So, what is the actual name of the...
It's called Chicano Elegance.
Chicano
Elegance. And so it's crazy. So I was actually invited to participate in this. Somebody is really blowing me up on my Instagram right now. Sorry. Girl. It's like I'm putting that away.
She's popular.
And the girl who started, her name is Elvira Zamora, and she has been in the industry for a very long time as a wardrobe stylist, like working on independent films and you name it, entertainment, all of it. And she called me and she said, hey, I really want to start a fashion show that represents us as Chicanos.
Okay.
So whenever I hear the word Chicano, for me, that means like Mexican from East LA. And so my first thing was like, girl, but you're not even Mexican, you're Peruvian. Number one.
Oh, well, so I guess we need to get into the meaning of Chicano.
So for her, it means if you were, raised and born in like in the LA area,
Okay.
and you're a Latina growing up. So that was really where she kind of brought that up. And I was just like, all right, cool. Because, I consider myself, I am half Mexican, half Salvadoran, which when I say that to people, they're like, how did that happen? Because if you don't know about it, there's a thing between like Mexican and Salvadorans.
Oh, they don't get along.
Apparently.
Oh.
But my parents did. they got enough along to get 5 kids coming out. Yeah, my mom had 5 kids.
Something worked,
Something sparked.
When
But
you click.
Mm-hmm. So anyways, so she was saying, she wants to do something that brings us all together and represents the Chicano heritage in the fashion stage. And on top of that, we are actually helping, all the proceeds from this show are going to help a nonprofit organization called Helping Hands, which was started by a young lady who provides shelter, resources, and especially like mental health and therapy for women who have left like domestic violence situations. So for me, when she said all of that, I was like, count me in. And I was thinking, like 5 people will show up. It will be something small. This is a good way for me to ease into LA Fashion Week. And then before you know it, we started getting sponsors, and one of them being George Lopez, which we're super excited about. So I'm like, yo, this is starting to become bigger than I thought it was going to be. And the media outlets are starting to show love and interest. We got to put on a show.
We're putting on a show, folks. Mm-hmm. Oh, that's so exciting. I didn't know all that. Ooh.
Every week, somebody else jumps on and wants to either be there to do coverage for us, which is a major for us, especially for the designers that are involved. There's 6 local independent designers.
Yeah.
Me being one of them. And I have the honor of closing the show out, which is super a big deal.
No big deal, but a huge deal.
Kind of a big deal when you haven't done this for 12 years. I mean, I used to do all the bigger LA Fashion Week events, but this is such a long time ago. And for me to go from going corporate and doing things one way to now funding myself again, it's hard because I'm shifting gears, But I want to say, since I have the opportunity to say it, I wouldn't feel confident to do it had I not had that weird period of that COVID happen. So during the pandemic, I ended up back in the studios again. So my history with music has always been there. My first endeavor into design was actually designing merch for the Wallflowers, which you may not know who they are, but that's Bob Dylan's son, Jacob Dylan's band. And so I was 16 and I was able to start doing stuff for them. And then from there, I just started working on different artists' merch. So when I stopped doing my brand and I started working corporate, I kind of lost my spark. And I was like, well, maybe I'm supposed to do this for other people, right? Mm-hmm. And I was making good money for other people. I'm not going to complain.
Yeah.
But when COVID hit, one of my really good friends who was in a girl group, Prima J, Janelle, said, I want to go back in the studio and I want to be creative, and will you come and will you represent me? And I was like, sure, I'll be your manager. So we ended up in the studio in South Central LA. And I meet the most this is the most random thing. This is how life works, I think, right? And you're supposed to meet certain people.
Yeah.
I end up in the studio September of 2020, and I meet FIFA. which is this like young, you know, artist. I don't want to really call him a rapper. He's really an artist because I've seen him do. And if you tell him to work any like genre, I feel like I've been in the studio with him enough to know that he can really hit it out the park.
Oh, wow.
And he had his own brand at the time, LAtinos. And he was like, "Can you help me with it?" And I'm like, yeah. You actually learn. You own the name Latinos. That was my first thing. It was like, you know how big that is? I'm like, of course I'm gonna work on this.
Yeah.
So working with him and working with his brothers and working with his whole team, I realized like, I've been sleeping on myself. So
for sure,
big ups to them. I'm actually wearing one of my favorite LAtino sweatshirts today.
Shout out,
repping the brand.
Yeah.
So I feel like that was a big push for me to like go back in and say, hey girl, do this for yourself, try it. And what was that, 2020? Now we're in 2023. It did take the 2 years, which some people it takes them a little bit less, but for me,
it's different for everybody.
I needed to go through the cycle of like, all right, let me develop this one drop. Let me develop a second drop.
Yeah.
Yo, I have it. I really do have it. It's still in me.
Yeah.
But you know, when you work for corporate, they make you doubt that you have it because they're like, well, we're not going to pay you this much because we don't think you're that good. Yeah. They always kind of do that. I mean, you've worked in corporate before, you Revolve.
It's a lot of carrot dangling in the fashion industry.
Carrot dangling.
You could be real good at your job, and then come time your review, we just don't feel you're like ready for the next level. When actuality, it's usually budget or something that they're not trying to supersede to give you the more money. But whatever the case may be, corporate it can be soul crushing in a way. It can be so creative limiting that it kind of keeps you from doing your own thing in that regard. For me, it's like I could have been started something a long time ago as well. Yeah. But you know, when you work corporate, it feels safe.
You get comfortable.
It feels secure because you got your benefits and everything else just constantly working for you. But at the same time, like, is this all you want to do? Because I know for me as a tech designer, I don't think I want to be a tech manager. Like, I don't mind having 2 people on my team. I've done that, but like more than that, I don't see it for myself. So, and it's funny because we know each other for a long time. I actually know you from baby steps, like your intern. Yeah, I was still in school when I met you. That's right. You were well working at the company I had interned at.
I was the head designer of that department.
That's right. That's so crazy. That was like a solid.
And I was a baby
10 years ago. Yeah. You've been working your ass off, girly, for years.
Because it's been nonstop for me, and because my story is just like there was no option for me. There was no like someone's gonna take care of home for me. I was taking care of home since I was little. So when you met me, I was already I wasn't in my transitioning period. I was already in like, okay, I'm already the head designer for like a big company. I want to be an executive. And I wanted to like, I want to sit with all those white boys with the suit and ties.
Yeah.
How do I get there? So it was like a lot of learning. You know, I grew up on the block, on the hood. And I grew up with a very colorful vocabulary.
Great way to put it.
Colorful vocabulary. So I had to really learn on my own how to negotiate a salary, how to project to somebody that I was worth that salary, and then how to like say, hey, let me lead your company, let me lead your teams, let me scale up your business. You don't know me because I'm not a, can I say it?
Yeah.
I'm not a, rich, cute little white girl with Botox and lip fillers, but I know what the fuck I'm doing, and I know the business. And so I think what's always separated me from a lot of the pack would be that I was creative, but I also had the foresight to see the business side of it. So I always, when people ask me like, oh, what do you do? I'm like, I'm a hyper creative because one, I don't stop. The creative flow never stops, but also the business. Like if you start talking business to me, I get very turned on by it. I'm just like, oh, that's sexy. I want to talk about money.
You're like, tell me more.
Tell me more. How do I make my art? How do I translate that into dollars for you? And I think about it for myself and for the brands I associate myself with.
That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I know that they know that because I'm like, yo, I'm going to wear the shit out of this and I'm going to plug the shit out of it because I know that there's potential with what we're working on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's the biggest part, especially when you work in corporate. It's like, how can they're going to be like, how can you make us money? That's the bottom line.
Mm-hmm.
But that's where it's like creatively limiting because it's like they're going off of what sells. So it's like, okay, how do I take this, make it, you know, not 100% like the thing that's already existing because, you know, knocking off is basically what fashion is.
Yep. Especially fast fashion.
Fast fashion is just knocking it straight off of the label, you know? Yeah. And I'll say because Steve Madden is so funny. They be knocking off the shoe completely from the designer label. And I don't know if they get away with it every time, but.
I have a funny Steve Madden story. And it happened a couple days ago.
Did you meet Steve Madden?
Well, I was in an elevator with him a month ago.
Oh my God.
Which is weird that you just brought that up. But apparently he's in talks with like my old employer.
Oh.
So they might actually be like partnering on something. But apparently he likes looking at, you know, some of the young assistants.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. So I was like, oh, okay.
Oh, dear.
Yeah. Yeah, I had to say that.
About to be a Me Too movement in this bitch.
Yo, I had to call it out.
Ooh. Mr. Steve, Mr.
We like
Madden.
to see out here. Mr. Madden.
Mr. Madden, you on a slippery slope, my guy. Be careful.
Mm-hmm. Wear some shades.
That's where I get fucked up too sometimes. Like social media will make me feel like I'm not doing enough. Like I see everybody doing everything everywhere all at once, like the movie. And I'm just like, oh my God, I just woke up. Like, why haven't I done anything yet? It's only 8:00. But
I started a purge last night. And if you were on my stories and you saw it, because I had a whole rant.
Would you purge?
But I literally went on my Instagram and I was like, I'm deleting people that I don't want to see their Instagram anymore.
Oh, okay.
And it was things that either triggered me, anything that made me feel like I was like maybe in competition with, or anything that made me feel any sort of way that I was like, I don't want to look at this because it makes me feel either fat or not good enough or any of those things, because social media tends to do that.
Yeah.
Especially as females. Like, I don't need to look another hot girl. I'm good. You know, like, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I was like, I'm not looking at this girl. And it's, again, there might be a deeper part of that where it's like, maybe I have to address some like insecurity issues. But for right now, I don't want to be triggered. So I was like, delete, unfollow. And anything that to me just felt like it was toxic in any sort of way, I unfollowed. I got, you know, Instagram stopped me yesterday at like about 150. And this morning I was like, I got to continue on my journey. And I went unfollow.
I'm not done yet.
I am not done yet. I am unfollowing you motherfuckers. I'm done. You start unfollowing things that just don't serve you. And I think that sometimes when you are like on Instagram or Twitter or TikTok, certain accounts trigger you. Mm-hmm. And I think it's important to kind of just go back and just do a detox. Because, you know, I think it's crazy is that we're grown women. Like, I'm about to be 40 this year. And there's still things that trigger me. So I think like what's going on in the mind of like a young girl, you know, like a 13-year-old. I couldn't imagine myself being 13 and having all this access to, you know, to social media and starting to feel like body dysmorphia or like the need to like be flashy and have all this like instant success. And I think a lot of that, if it hurts us as adults, what is it doing to like the youth, you know? That's
very true. The youth is, you know, they're going to be a whole different breed of people. Mm-hmm. Like Gen Z is different. Okay.
Oh, for sure.
Oh man. And I just feel like psychologically social media will play such a big part in their lives that we won't know what's going to come of it. And it's kind of scary. But you have to take a detox as an adult. At least I do. Like, I just know myself enough now that I get overstimulated. I get overstimulated by seeing a lot of bullshit. People I know faking the funk, living these whole different lives online. Which, all right, if you are an influencer or you're trying to do something on social media as, you know, your passion, then I guess it's warranted. But if you're just out here lying about the dumbest shit just to do it, I think there's mental illness there. I don't know what that is. You might need to talk to somebody. But either way, it's not for me to decide, or it's not even my business. You know, I really shouldn't care this much. And I don't, but it's still like, it's something I absorb and then I feed it back to myself like, well, what am I doing wrong?
Well, because you get invested.
Yeah.
It's like, you know, in the mornings when I said I wake up in the morning and I try to like meditate and be intentional about what I'm saying to myself, the words I speak to myself in the morning, what I pray for in the morning. So now you have something, a device literally in the palm of your hand that you scroll up, scroll down, whatever, sideways, swipe sideways, whatever, you're being triggered. It is triggering either, you know, an emotional response to be like, oh my God, I love that outfit, or like, oh my God, look at that girl and she's doing like these crazy, you know, workout and I don't look like that. And, you know, look at how many likes she has versus, you know, you start to, those things start to play with your head.
Yeah.
So it's like, and I'm an adult. Like I said, like we're
grown,
adults.
right?
We
don't have time for this.
We got time for this shit. And you know, if it's gonna affect me where it's like gonna derail my focus for the day, or if it's, I just feel like it's totally warranted to take a sabbatical, take a break. And you know, the other reminder too is we only post the parts of our lives we want people to see online.
Very true.
Right? So like if you go on my grid, it's like, oh my gosh, you're like so stylish all the time. But half of the time I don't even wear makeup.
Same.
Like I don't wear makeup every day. Like my skin needs to breathe.
Same.
I'm turning 40. My skin needs to breathe.
I gotta breathe in general. So
in general.
Like, the tight stuff, you know, is limited. Everything is so limited now. I'm all about comfort. And it's still being stylish, but comfort first. Like fit, it has to be there. So I feel you, girl. It's a struggle. Let's rewind. Let's go back into the fashion show that's coming up.
I'm so nervous.
It's coming February 18th.
Yeah.
In downtown LA, right?
It's at the Los Angeles Rivers and Gardens. So it's actually kind of like Elysian Park.
Elysian Park. Okay. I know where that's at.
Which, you know, historically was a very Chicano, you know, residential area, and then now it's become, you know, it's been a little gentrified, but as all of our urban spaces are turning in LA, it's getting so expensive to live in LA. But back to the show, it is happening. It's the first time that they were doing it. So
first annual, love that.
First annual. It's a gala. It's supposed to be a black tie affair, which I know people are like, what do you mean? Is it a 3-piece suit thing?
Right. I too thought like black tie meant like all custom everything, just about. But
couture?
Or couture, yeah.
I don't think it's couture like that. I think it's just like dress to the nines.
Just dress up.
Just dress up.
Not down, up.
Up. If you're coming, dress up.
Yeah.
And the tickets are $100 a pop. So if you're coming, yeah. Okay. And the proceeds are going to Helping Hands, which is an organization that's helping, you know, shelter victims of domestic violence in our LA area. Nice. They are not a 501 nonprofit organization. They've been doing this for a couple of years. And, you know, one of the amazing things about this organization is that she focuses on the mental health and educating. And I think that sometimes, especially in our communities, like whether you're Latino or Black or Asian, we tend to stigmatize therapy. And now we've known each other for a long time. And I think I've said that a couple of times today. But as friends, I think we've had the conversation about the importance of therapy. Yeah. Right? So I started seeing a therapist in about 2016 because I was going through some personal things that I'm not going to get into. But it's really important. It really, really helped save my life in a way that I was going into like a total depressive state. And because of the stigma behind therapy, I was scared. I was actually scared to just look up a therapist because I'm like, oh my God, am I going crazy?
Yeah.
Like, this is what mom says is like for crazy people, you know? And growing up in a traditional like Latina family, the only people who see therapists and psychiatrists are crazy people. So it was really a hard step for me to take in, but you know, I'm happy now. I still see my therapist. I spoke to my therapist 2 days ago. I needed it.
Yeah, that's what they're there for when you need it.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be when you freak out or actually have a mental breakdown. Use it. That's why I want one now. I want someone to just be that guide, like when I am feeling like anxious or whatever, so I can just tackle those moments as soon as possible and not let them fester and bottle up and turn into some explosion later. So I get it, girl. You do what you got to do.
Yeah. So I'm excited about the show. I'm excited for for being able to help our community and give back. That's part of my call to service. I always feel like that's really my calling. People are like, oh, you're a designer. But I'm like, well, but really my calling is to serve. Because I feel in all aspects of my life, whether it's like my family or my friends, I feel I show up. And I take it very serious. I'm gonna cry. It's coming. I'm like, please don't cry, girl. It's gonna. I'm like, don't cry right now.
Touching moments on the pod.
On the pod. Thank you. That you just helped me not cry by doing that. I needed that.
Happy to help.
Yeah, happy to help, girl. Because I was like, oh crap, I'm gonna start crying on camera.
Yeah.
No, I think it's really important. I think that we live in a society where people are very much about themselves. I tend to work with artists, and sometimes I feel like people in the entertainment industry can be just about themselves. So it's hard for them to like feel the support. So I'm very much about helping my friends and the community. So I'm excited to do this, not just for myself, but because I know I'm going to give back. And I think that that's like the coolest part of doing the show.
Totally.
Yeah, girl.
How are you able to put in the time and effort it takes to produce/develop your show and work and handle everyday life and eat and breathe and hopefully get some sleep?
So on average, my sleeping hours are from about 2 a.m. to 5 a.m.
You did say that you get a little 3-hour nap.
I get a 3-hour nap, and then when I get home from work, I usually take a shower right away, and it's like that shock of like the water hitting your body, and then I just get straight to it. So that's what really kind of helps me. If I take a nap in the middle of the day, what'll end up happening is it's gonna take me like another 1 to 2 hours to really get back up.
That. Yeah, it's hard.
It's very, very hard.
Naps are risky at this big age.
Well, the thing is, like, you take a nap at 39, and then you're like, yo,
sleep.
I want to stay asleep. I'm not trying to get up right now.
Yes.
And then you're kind of contemplating, like, should I get up? I mean, I could just stay here.
Right.
And then this weather hasn't been helping at all.
Yeah, it's a little cooler. The rain definitely slowed me down. It kept me in the house.
So yeah, it's been very, very hard to juggle. I also started my production company. I don't know if you know that, but I basically do like private label, and I have 2 clients.
Okay.
So I've been figuring that all out while I'm working on my stuff, while I'm working on whatever A through Z project I have in the back burner. So yeah, no, I don't really have time to make excuses. And I think that's what it is. Because I've packed so much, I don't give myself an allowance to make an excuse. Like, I really can't take the break.
Got you.
So I'm sure that there's a lot of things here that I'm doing that are unhealthy for me. But I figure the show's on the 18th of February, and I've got about 29 more days of this. And then after that, I'll sleep. Like, literally, I see myself like February 19th just asleep.
The whole day.
Maybe like an 18-hour sleep.
Damn.
Yeah, that's how I'm gonna celebrate.
And I'm not mad at that. I feel like, yeah, there is some sacrifices that have to be made to get things done.
Yeah.
So, all this is just inspiring to hear.
Mm-hmm.
So I know at some point
Thank
I'm going to
you.
have a sleepless night and I'm going to have to figure out, hey, how bad do you want it? I know you're not going to give me all the details to the pieces you're launching, but like, are we doing seasons with this fashion show? Like, is this supposed to be the spring, summer? Are we in resort? What season are we with this LA Fashion Week?
So typically LA Fashion Week in March is going to be autumn, winter, which is like, Q3, Q4.
Okay.
Which is like
I say
fall.
that's also resort.
Yeah.
too.
But again, this show came out of nowhere for me.
Okay.
And it came like on it was a conversation like at Earth Cafe in October, and it was supposed to be just more of like something a little bit smaller scale. And as I'm getting closer to it, I see myself designing a full collection with like things that need showpieces. Do you know what I'm saying?
Oh, okay.
So
So we're talking like dresses.
I'm gonna
What are we
have
talking
dresses. I'm gonna have sequin pieces. I'm gonna have some pieces that are like more color blocked, and some things that are gonna be ready to sell, ready to wear, and things that are not gonna be ready to wear because I don't really have the facilities and the resources to produce everything right now.
Yeah.
So it's more like a showcase for me.
Awesome.
But I mean, I'm excited. And the thing about the line is, for me as a Latina designer, it's very, very, very important to kind of keep that. I want to say, like, I keep saying the word representation on the racks. And the reason I say that is because I feel like we're not represented on any of the department store floors. And when they do, it's forced. So I've been in enough boardrooms and behind closed door meetings to know that a lot of these department store buyers don't really know what to do with us. Mm-hmm. They know they need to include us because it's part of the movement of inclusivity. But when they bring in the brands, they don't put any sort of backing towards like the marketing. So you sometimes will walk into, like, I would say, like, I'm going to use Nordstrom as an example because I feel like they do a poor job and a good job. And the reason I say that is because it's a good job that you're including us.
Yeah.
But it's a poor job as how you're portraying us and marketing us.
The execution
isn't there.
Got it.
And these brands, these like brands that are made by Latinos or made by Black owned businesses, like Pattern, right? Mm-hmm. When have you ever seen a successful marketing rollout for Pattern?
We're talking about for the app?
Yeah, no, for the hair care.
Oh, Tracy's.
Yeah, Tracy's brand.
Oh, great question.
Yeah. I'm telling you, I'm in everything. I'm such a shopper that I'm always watching the market, whether it's like going to be clothing or it's going to be beauty, because I'm a girl too. Like,
sure.
And I'm going to look at all the stuff. So I'll notice, I'm like, oh, wow, Tracy Ellis? Is that how I say her name?
Tracy Ellis Ross. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. They're selling it at Nordstrom now. Why hasn't
Yes.
How come Nordstrom doesn't have a proper rollout for her?
Yeah, I agree. That should be a thing.
I went online the other day and I saw all this stuff for Fear of God on Nordstrom in clearance. And I'm like, did it not sell? And then I checked every item because I'm a nerd. I went on there, checked every item. Oh, they have plenty in small. They got medium. They have the whole inventory.
There's just no marketing behind it.
There's no marketing behind it.
Yeah.
So people don't know it's there.
Yeah.
But at the same time, who is one of the most prolific designers that has come out of, the USA in the last 10 years? Jerry Lorenzo. To me, he is the future of American luxury. He is this generation's Ralph Lauren. If you don't know who he is, I don't know, maybe you live under a rock. But why isn't he being marketed in all of the rollouts for these department stores that are carrying him?
I mean, maybe it's probably budget. They probably don't want to pay for it.
Yeah, but they carry everybody else's stuff. You see, what is that brand that Khloe Kardashian does?
Good American.
Good American everywhere.
Yeah, but you see, they pay for all of that shit. I think it's a double-edged sword because I do think it's both the the designer's responsibility to push, but also the store's distribution to have something going, or some type of collaboration, a campaign, whatever. Because I will say, with the Good American, when they collabed with Zara, I saw it. But that's also because I shop at Zara, and you know, it's like, you just got to be in the know. Nordstrom is dropping the ball a little bit, but I think that's also malls in general. Like, there just has to be a rework on malls because people aren't going. So you really have to just improve your online presence, because that's where we're really at. Yeah. And then social media, you got to get a TikToker to dance your little shirt with your shirt on. And I gotta
get someone dancing in the sweatshirt right now.
You do. You gotta like get the TikTokers involved, because social media is really like the fuel. And it's annoying, but it's important. So,
jeez, it's just crazy. So I'm to me, my brand and what I want to represent is like probably the opposite of what people are gonna think when they think Latina from Los Angeles. Do you know what I'm saying?
Let's talk about. We haven't even said the name of your brand.
It's called Prayed in Full.
Prayed in Full, which is I think is a great name. I love the play on words.
Yes.
And then I love what you had designed, especially with the sweat sets. It was just so bold, and it was still like a nice colorway, but also just like the graphics were just very strong. Yeah. And I feel like that's your strong suit, is like graphics and doing a lot of bold like designs, and I really appreciate that.
Thank you. And it's always going to be the message behind it for me.
You have a lot of good messaging on there. Yeah. Very positive.
Yeah. This time I feel like it's a little bit more like well-rounded. Okay. So this collection, I would say, is pushing me to really talk about the struggle.
The struggle.
You know, having been, you know, spoiled by corporate and being able to, like I was telling you in the car earlier, it's like I've had access for the last 15 years to mega teams and building A teams, and I'm known for building teams. Yeah. And with that comes, if you say to me, Marty, I need a collection in a week, I'm like, cool, I can do that in 5 days, because I have access to the assistants, the designers, the graphics, all of that. I've been stripped of that. Yeah. Doing this by myself. I am funding. I'm doing the line plans myself. I'm doing the design work myself. All of the creative and the story and the narrative behind the whole line has to come from me. So it's taking a lot from me, emotionally, physically, spiritually, to make this happen on the 18th. Yeah. But it's a journey that I'm like, I am not tapping out, girl. I'm waking up every day on 3 hours of sleep. I don't know how I'm doing it. There's days that are better than others. And if you follow my close stories, you just know, like, she's having a day. But it's just been like that. I almost feel like I'm in a reality show, you know, like when they're like about to have like that moment where they're going to start crying and shit. I feel like that's been me a couple of times just this week. with juggling just like life, with juggling the 9-to-5 job and, you know, making time for family and trying to figure out like where in the 24 hours is the me time, not the sleep time. Because the 3 hours where I'm out. Like, I have no control over those 3 hours. I'm in Jesus' hands. Like, you're literally I hope I wake up in the morning. Right. Yep. So, like, where is that, like, time for myself where I'm like, yo, I'm just going to do, like, a little, like, face mask or just take a nice shower or, you know, box or whatever it is that I do is my outlet. That is my physical, like, retreat from all of it. Any of my friends, and you included, you have a dream. I don't want you to have like a limited dream. Right. You know, dreams are free. They don't cost. It don't cost shit to have a dream. So why should your dream be small, right? Your dream can be as big as you want it. But having that big dream comes with big sacrifice. Yeah. What are you willing to compromise right now to make that happen? So for me, yes, I'm tired. Yes, I'm broke because everything I make is going back into the beast of like that, like fashion that it's like, it's a never ending cycle. It's that bottomless pit. and feeding your creative is just, it is expensive.
Yeah.
So I'm blessed in one way that I make enough that I can do that. But you have to learn, like, there is no excuses. If you don't get to where you want at the end of 2023, it's not because the world was against you. It's probably because you were against you.
Ooh.
Yeah. Don't you think so?
You can be your own worst enemy for sure.
Yeah. That's sitting and procrastinating. It's not the world. It's you. So I always try to remind people, like, well, what are you doing to push yourself to get to the next one? Well, when are we developing this active line, girl? I'm here. It's not like I guess I can use another.
Girl, please. You do not need another project. You're okay. Yo. I'll reach out when it's time to reach out. Don't worry.
You know me. I'm always like, yo, I can help you. And even though I'm drowning, I'm like, I will help you.
Like, I'll just, only sleep 1 hour tonight.
I'll just sleep 1 hour. It's okay. I'm going to sacrifice those 2 hours for you, girl.
Please. Thank you. But no, I'm good as of right now. I'll definitely let you know when I'm ready to receive the help, because that's always my thing. It's like, asking for help is so hard. But all I have to do is just figure out what I need to do, because I know I'm going to be in the same boat as you one day. I don't know if I'll do like a fashion show with the active, but I definitely want to do an event or something to like showcase it when I first launch it. So when we get there, it's baby steps. I feel like this year is development year for that. And then, we'll just keep climbing the ladder every day.
Yeah.
So, but wow, Maria, this was a beautiful conversation.
It was a lot.
We talked about
a lot.
Everything.
Literally, we didn't even talk about Beyonce yet.
We're not even going to, because
we're not gonna do that.
We're in the hour, and
we're in the pocket. We're in that pocket.
We're good. Beyonce can be saved for another day, because Beyonce, she trends all day long. So
I gotta say, I love Beyonce though. But
she's
we
great.
don't. Yeah.
No, we're not gonna go there. But yes, so let's plug your socials. Let's tell the people where they can find you, where they can find this invite, this RSVP maybe.
Yes. So if you go into @Prayed in Full, that's PRAYEDINFULL, you will find all the information that you need, including the link on the bio to buy tickets to this show. The show is February 18th. It's called Chicano Elegance, and I hope to see you guys there. We only have like 30 tickets left.
Okay.
Yeah, we're almost sold out.
Ooh.
And I'm excited about that. I'm super excited. And I forgot to mention Vivian Lamoli. She's an actress that was in the Hulu show East Los, will actually be on the runway show with us that evening. So I'm super excited to have her on stage as well.
That's exciting.
Yeah. So yeah, we got some surprises. So come on through. I hope I see you guys there. And you're gonna see my girl there.
You listen, I might be part of the show. If you don't need anything else.
It's a done deal.
I'm in the show, you guys. I'll let you know what I'm wearing when I find out. But yes, wow. Thanks, girly.
Thank you. Thanks for having me, Girl Pod.
Anytime. Girl Pod. Girl what?
Girl what? Yo, that drink you made me.
Strong?
It's hitting.
Oh.
It's hitting.
That's good. That's good. We're warm and fuzzy.
Yeah.
Just in time for dinner.
Yeah, just in time.
All right, you guys. Thanks for listening. And like I said earlier, subscribe, rate, and review the podcast on Apple. Toodles.